Shoo-wee, what you say, ranch hand? Sure is a hot one out. Well, if it ain't Miss Sally Sunshine.
Well, hi. It's good to see ya. I was just reading this book about the sun. Are you okay? Know that the sun is about 93 million miles from Earth?
93 million miles?
Yeah. And the sun is so bright that it provides daylight for Earth.
Well, golly gee, ain't that just something else?
Yeah, and it also says something about shadows in here, but...
Shadows from the sun?
Yeah, I don't really understand it.
Sounds like something we should investigate a little further.
Alright.
To the science lab.
My question is, does the sun make shadows move?
Alright kids, well it's time for another experiment. Yay! Now if you remember last week, we got 4 parts to complete. The first one, courtesy of Miss Sally Sunshine, is our question. Does the sun make shadows move? So, I went ahead and wrote my hypothesis. Now, I don't think shadows are going anywhere. So I said, I think my shadow will stay in the same place. Now for part 3 is where we get started on our experiment. Yay! For the data. So, what we're going to do is make a shadow tracker. And I'll show you what that device is later. Then, we're going to trace the shadow 3 different times throughout the day. In the morning, the middle of the day, and then in the afternoon or the night. And we'll record the time each time we trace it. So we see if those shadows are going anywhere or not. And once we've done that, we can get going on our final part, the conclusion. Which is where we say, I found out that, blah, blah, blah. Alrighty, y'all. It's time to make that shadow tracker and find out what the sun's really up to. So first, we're going to need a piece of paper and then a pen to stick in that piece of paper so we can see a shadow. And finally, some sort of marker to trace the shadow and record the time.
Instead of a pen, can you use a fork?
I reckon you could, Sally Sunshine.
Could you use a straw?
Yes, ma'am.
What about a coffee pot?
Now, I don't think that one's quite going to work out now, miss. So if you got any of those materials, we'll go ahead and get them together and we'll make our sun trackers and get this experiment started. Alright, Miss Sally, you ready to make that sun tracker?
I sure am.
So first we're going to start with our piece of paper. And let's get our marker out. We're going to draw an arrow pointing in one direction at the top of the paper. So what this arrow is for is each time you go out to track the shadow, you need to make sure that that arrow is pointed in the exact same direction. So you'll stand in the same spot each time you go out to mark it and point the arrow in the same direction. So step 2, you need your fork or pencil or pen to stick on through to make a shadow. Alrighty? So we're going to get it right in the center and you're going to poke it through the paper. Alright, so what you're going to do is hold it on through, and when you go outside you'll see the shadow and then you can trace it with your marker. So we'll go outside and check it out.
Hello, so I'm outside right now. I decided that I want my arrow to always face those mountains over there. So each time I track where my shadow is, I'm going to make sure my arrow is going that way. And so this is my first drawing of the day. I just put some cardboard underneath my piece of paper so that it doesn't blow around because it's kind of windy today. Alright, So I carefully traced my shadow, and I'm gonna write what time it is. And right before I came outside, I checked the time, and it is 11 o'clock a.m. That means in the morning. Meow, meow, meow.
Alrighty kids, so we got our shadows tracked at 9:30 in the morning, 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. And wouldn't you know it, it looks like those shadows were moving. So you can tell from 9:30 it came all the way around here at 4 p.m. and then all the way over to here at 7 p.m. So all the way to the other side of the page. So I reckon it's time for us to write our conclusion, and I'm going to get Miss Sally Sunshine to help with that.
Hey guys, so if we go back to our hypothesis, we said, I think my shadow will stay in the same place. Was I right? No, doesn't look like it, but I did learn some information. I found, and if I know how to write the word out, I can write the word ound. All right, I ound out that shadows move throughout. Throughout. That's a tricky one. The day. Oops, I almost forgot my period. There we go.
Well, ain't that just great? What'd you say, Ranch Hand? Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you next time.
Bye.